The Weight of a Thought, a story of lost destiny. Welcome back. Today, I want to take you on a journey into the architecture of the human mind. We often live under the illusion that we are defined solely by our actions, by what we do, what we build, and how we treat others. But there is a deeper, more frightening truth. Action is merely the echo of a thought. We like to think we are safe from our darker impulses. But the line between a hero and a villain is often thinner than a razor's edge. It doesn't take a lifetime of evil to ruin a destiny, sometimes. It only takes a single, unchecked microsecond of greed. Let me share a story with you, a tragedy of a man named Jake, that perfectly illustrates this terrifying reality. The Struggle Jake was a young man carved from the rough stone of hardship. He lived in a forgotten town where the dust was thick, and hope was thin. Poverty wasn't just a condition for Jake, it was a roommate that never left. Yet, despite the gnawing hunger that often kept him awake at night, Jake possessed something rare, a spine of steel and a heart of gold. He was the kind of man who would return a dropped coin even if he hadn't eaten in 2 days. His dignity was his only true possession. But everyone has a breaking point. One blistering afternoon, after a week of rejection and no work, Jake sat by the roadside, his spirit nearly crushed. That's when he saw him, an old, frail man struggling under the weight of 3 burlap sacks. The man looked as though a strong wind could blow him over. "Young man," the elder rasped, his voice dry as dead leaves. "My legs are failing me. Can you help me carry these to the village across the ridge?" Jake didn't hesitate. He nodded and hoisted the first bag. He grunted in surprise, it was incredibly heavy. "Bronze coins," the old man muttered, watching him closely. "Not worth much to a king, but a fortune to a beggar." The test of character. They began their trek. The sun beat down mercilessly. Jake's muscles screamed, but he kept pace. As they reached a rushing river, the old man stopped, clutching his chest. "I cannot carry this second bag across the water," he wheezed. "It is filled with silver. Will you take it?" Jake took the second bag. Now, double the weight pressed into his shoulders. As they waded through the cold water, the old man began to speak strange words. He questioned Jake's route. He made snide remarks about whether Jake was walking too fast, hinting that perhaps Jake was trying to lose him. It was insulting. Jake felt a flash of anger. "I am helping you. Why do you doubt me?" But he swallowed his pride. "I gave you my word, sir," Jake said firmly. "I will get you there." Finally, they reached the foot of the steepest hill. The destination was close. The old man pointed to the third and final bag. "This one," the old man whispered, "is gold, pure gold. I am too weak to climb this incline. You must carry it up. Go ahead of me, I will follow your footsteps slowly." The seed of destruction. Jake hoisted the bag of gold. It was heavier than the others, dense with the promise of wealth. He began the climb, his boots digging into the dirt. 10 steps, 20 steps. The old man fell behind, disappearing around a bend in the trail. And then, it happened. It wasn't a monster that attacked Jake. It wasn't a bandit. It was something far more dangerous, a thought. "If I run now, he will never catch me." At first, Jake shook his head. "No, I am an honest man." But the thought returned, louder this time, fueled by years of starvation and suffering. "Look at this gold. One bag could change everything. No more hunger, a big house, a beautiful wife, respect. Why should I be a slave to honesty when the world has given me nothing but pain?" The thought was like a drop of ink in a glass of water. It clouded everything. The temptation wasn't just about money, it was about relief. It was the seductive promise of an easy life. In that isolated moment on the hill, the honest Jake fought a war against the desperate Jake. And the desperate Jake won. With a surge of adrenaline, he didn't wait for the old man. He didn't look back. He ran. He sprinted toward the horizon, clutching the bag to his chest, his heart pounding with a toxic mix of guilt and exhilaration. He had done it. He had stolen his future. The cruel reveal. Jake ran until his lungs burned, finally collapsing in the safety of his small, broken down shack. He locked the door, his hands trembling violently. "I'm rich," he gasped. "It's finally over." With wild eyes, he untied the rope on the bag of gold. He turned it over. ready to see the shimmering yellow metal spill onto his floor. Thud, thud, thud. Gray, dusty rocks tumbled out. Jake froze. His breath caught in his throat. He ripped open the bag of silver. Rocks. He tore open the bag of bronze. Nothing but river stones. Confusion washed over him, followed by a cold, creeping dread. He frantically searched the empty bags until his fingers brushed against a piece of fine parchment tucked inside the last sack. He pulled it out. The handwriting was elegant and regal. It read, "I am not a beggar. I am the king of this land. I have no son, and my time is coming to an end. I disguised myself to find the one thing money cannot buy, integrity. I was looking for an heir, a man who could carry the weight of a kingdom without bending his principles. You carried the heavy burdens well, Jake, but you dropped the most important one, trust. Had you waited for me at the top of the hill, the throne would have been yours." The aftermath. A scream died in Jake's throat. He fell to his knees, clutching the worthless stones. The tragedy wasn't that he didn't get the gold. The tragedy was that he had been auditioning for a kingdom, and he sold his destiny for a momentary fantasy. He had been a good man for years, but it only took 1 minute, one single, ungoverned thought, to erase a lifetime of character. Conclusion. The Garden of the Mind. This story is a haunting reminder for all of us. We often think, it's just a thought, it's harmless, but Jake shows us that thoughts are the architects of our reality. A thought becomes an action. An action becomes a habit. A habit becomes a character. And character becomes destiny. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not the world outside, it is the whisper inside your own head. If you want to change your life, don't start with your actions, start with your mind. Treat your thoughts like a garden. If you let the weeds of greed, anger, and jealousy grow, they will eventually choke out your future. But if you plant seeds of integrity, patience, and kindness, you will harvest a destiny far greater than you can imagine. Thank you for listening. Guard your mind, for it is the source of life.